Indoor karting has always been constrained by the physical boundaries of the building. A flat track can only stretch so far before it becomes repetitive, and repetitive means, well, boring. Track designers eventually run out of space, and operators can't expand without moving to larger, more expensive facilities. Earlier attempts to solve this problem added height, but relied on clunky structures that fixed some old issues while creating new ones. Because they depended heavily on ground floor layout, these earlier multi-level designs forced sharp corners, introduced dangerous impact angles, and created abrupt transitions that confused the drivers. Instead of expanding what the track could do, they often made it more unpredictable and less enjoyable. .360 karting became the first to introduce fully fluid multi-level karting. The motivation was simple. If karting was going to move from the industrial outskirts into the premium city centre locations, it needed a way to create more track without the need to consume more ground space. This required a shift in perspective, treating vertical space as an asset. The shift from just surface area to volume changed the economics of karting and set a new direction for the industry. Traditional multi-level tracks were built on rectangular steel modules, so every elevated turn became a rectangular corner. It might not have been noticeable at first, but this underlining geometry is unnatural for driving. It creates difficult corners and hesitation points where drivers slow down or panic. Also, the transitions between flat and elevated sections were abrupt, causing sudden loads on the kart chassis and destabilizing the driver. As a result, such clunky elevated sections often became hotspots for bottlenecks, crashes, and stop-and-go behavior. Operators gained more track surface, but also faced higher maintenance costs and more frequent session interruptions. So our engineers, they had a crazy idea. What if we separated the driving surface from the structural supports, making them two independent elements, so that the track shape no longer depended on the position or the shape of the columns beneath it? This changed everything. Suddenly, we had complete freedom to shape the elevated track exactly as a smooth, flowing driving line demands. The rectangular corners disappeared, sight lines opened up, and the ground floor track no longer had to wrap awkwardly around supporting legs. Independent columns allowed the structure to fit into venues with irregular layouts or dense pillar grids. The structure can adapt to complex shapes, mixed indoor and outdoor environments, and small footprints starting from 800 square meters and up. Another shift in perspective is space. In a traditional flat layout, the whole ground floor is consumed by the track, leaving very little room for anything else. But as soon as you elevate that track, you free up a lot of ground space without compromising track length and geometry. That reclaimed space can then host secondary attractions such as arcades, bowling, VR zones, lounges, or food and beverage areas, you name it. This creates a layered venue where karting pulls people in as a primary anchor attraction, while the additional attractions extend retention time and increase spend per customer. Instead of one activity filling the entire building, the operator gains a full entertainment ecosystem, supported by the same footprint that previously could carry only a single level track. What began as a simple attempt to stretch a track beyond its limits of a ground floor has turned into a complete rethinking of how the overall construction, space, and experience work together inside a karting venue. By treating height as a core design concept, multi-level takes the constraints of a flat layout and turns them into opportunities for a better driving experience and more profitable operations. It gives operators a venue that uses the overall volume of the building to its advantage, opening up space for other activities, improving throughput, and strengthening the overall performance of the business.